Welcome to the Sourcing Hero podcast, produced by Una, a group purchasing organization that empowers sourcing heroes, and Art of Procurement, the world's largest procurement podcast network. I'm your host, Kelly Barner. The goal of the Sourcing Hero podcast is to capture the epic stories of people who are rising up and beating the odds to create exceptional value within procurement, directly from those heroes themselves. Today, my guest here on the Sourcing Hero podcast is Bhavuk Chawla. Bhavuk is an associate procurement director at Unilever, a company where every member of every functional team must be keenly aware of their impact on consumer experience. So, Bhavuk, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me, Kelly.
Absolutely. Now, I talked a little bit about your job title and where you work, and certainly as consumers, we're all familiar with the Unilever name. But tell us a little bit more about your background. How did you reach this point in your career?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So most of the people in procurement are either from finance background or hold an MBA, and they kind of plan their way into procurement. I did not plan to be in procurement, but reached procurement via a convoluted route. I studied my engineering, worked in manufacturing, and then went to do my master's in packaging. Joined Unilever 16 years ago in packaging development. After spending 3 years in packaging development, I got an offer to move into procurement, and I took the leap of faith and joined procurement in 2013. And I was buying flexible packaging material for Unilever South Asia. Long story short, here we are after 13 years in procurement. I've done various roles in packaging procurement. I've done roles in contract manufacturing, also known as third party manufacturing, across two continents, India or South Asia, predominantly as a continent, and Americas.
You know, it's so interesting, and I'll share, listeners have probably heard me say this before. My own procurement background is in grocery retail. I think some of the most fun conversations are some of the different categories of retail or FMCG that come into our homes, right? You know, it's all manufacturing is interesting, all procurement is interesting, but it doesn't matter what industry you actually work in. We're all consumers. We all have these experiences. And I think it's both interesting to learn a little bit about all of the strategy and effort that goes into making our consumer experience possible, but then also to think about that too in terms of how we would understand it as procurement and supply chain professionals. So let me ask you, because we're going to focus on packaging, how do these packaging choices end up enhancing the consumer experience?
Yeah, so like you said, a consumer is at the heart of everything.
Yeah.
And most of the people are very well versed with 6 P's of marketing. Packaging is one of them, and I will say it is the first interaction any consumer have with the product, kind of thing. So anyone visit a store, we see the packaging, whether we are attracted towards it or not, decide what will happen next. But so packaging, just going into slightly more detail, packaging serves us in multiple ways. So first is packaging. The basic purpose of packaging is to give protection. Yeah. So that the protected package can reach, uh, or the product can reach the consumer in the safest way, and also survive the entire supply chain of process, yeah, which is basically shipping, storage, uh, and basically it should last till the lead time, or the shelf life of the product, what we call it. So that is most important. I'll say that, okay, what is the basic thing? So I can give examples. The examples are for barrier properties. Yeah, we all are aware that glass is the best barrier. It protects the product from moisture, oxygen, um, because otherwise the shelf life of the product will get reduced. We are well aware about counterfeiting. Temper evident seals provide safe assurance, and then means that consumer is getting the right product. Without someone tempering it. So that is the main key. Other things are also, uh, packaging influences the purchase decision through visual appeal. Like I said, whenever we go into any store, the packaging is the first interaction.
Wow.
That's the first interaction with the brand anyone has. So anything on attractive colors, uh, typography, what is the type of the artwork which is developed, any kind of finishes which are there on the product, on the package. So all these play a role in how consumer perceives it. Um, Packaging also helps improve convenience and ease of use. We all know consumer value product that fit smoothly in their daily routines.
Yep.
So any easy open features, anything on resellability, yeah, because we all prefer that everything has a zipper so that it can be sealed back. uh, we are getting more and more mobile each day, so a portion packs, single serve pack, which are also known as on the go or travel pack, uh, ergonomic designs that we can comfortably hold, pour out of, carry. Those are all the things which are very important, and can packaging is playing a great role. Also, uh, one thing which I want to say, add it on, is that packaging also creates a lot of premium and emotional experience. So in holidays, when every one of us are buying, shopping, gifts, gift like design, holiday packs,
Yes.
yeah, those all are very tempting, and they all sometime also provide a very different kind of a unboxing experience, so that they elevate consumer sensory behaviors, um, and help in creating a brand image in front of the consumer.
Well, Bhavik, I think you're going to be very pleased with me because I'm clearly a packaging shopper. Listening to you talk about some of these different benefits, I don't think I knew that about glass, that it helps with shelf life and it protects the product the most. That's really interesting to learn. But seasonal packaging, something that makes an item stand out on the shelf, you're absolutely talking to me about that. Now, when you think about this incredible list of roles that you talked about packaging being able to serve, there must be trade-offs that you have to work with the business to make, because you can't say, okay, we're going to do all 100 of the things on this list that packaging could potentially do. What are some of the things that typically end up being trade-offs, or where decision has to be made a little bit in one direction versus a little bit on the other, depending on the product and its needs?
Yeah. So there are three core parameters for buying any shopping decision. See, any buying decision, and they are universal. So we need the product at a optimum cost, with a great service
Yeah.
and great quality. Because if I have great quality but poor service, which means I can't buy it. So but I will touch on all these three parameters in slightly more detail. So first trade-off, I'll say, which any buyer goes through, is cost versus quality. Yeah, because we are all in very competitive environment, and so how do we balance the competitive pricing with required performance and brand standards? uh, so there are some trade-off associated with it. Lower cost of material may reduce the strength, print quality or shelf life again, which will hamper brand reputation, I will say. But if I go for a very over packaging, you then it will increase the cost, which means that I have to pass down bundle to the consumer. So there is a very thin line on cost per se. Another critical way of looking at it, and how this entire thing has evolved, is all about sustainability. So, how do we meet the sustainability target without compromising on the brand protection? So, for example, I can design a very heavy plastic bottle, which will look premium, perform excellent, but will not be sustainable.
Yeah.
So, again, there is a trade-off there. uh, Important thing also is there is a lot of rigid packaging getting used in North America. Everyone likes shampoo in a bottle versus shampoo in a multi-layer packaging, because of the ease of convenience buying it once. But all bottles, as we know, are made up of virgin resins, and there is a focus on using post-consumer recycled resin. But it's great for the nature, because it is recycled. You are not creating it from raw sources. But again, I can't use a PCR resin for a white bottle, because the resin quality is PCR resin quality is not up to that mark. Otherwise, it will show a mark. So there is again a very fine balance, and we closely work with brands on what can be done, what cannot be done, uh, on those things. Another big supply chain area where people look at it is, should we be doing supplier consolidation, or should we be basically uh, try to get more supply partners in the mix. So because, see, if I consolidate business with one supply partner, I get the efficiency benefits, I get the reduction in cost, uh, I develop a great partnership. But putting all eggs in one basket
Yeah.
can create a lot of risk also for your business. um, Last uh, thing which I want to say is on compliance. There is lot of regulatory food safety and sustainability compliance
Yes.
requirement. So again, we need to be compliant to that, because if we don't comply to it, there could be fines, there could be recalls, there you can eventually do a damage to the brand. And
Yeah.
we have seen it past, and then recalls happen, and then it is not a great story. Yeah, because people uh, remember recalls.
Yes. Yes, people definitely do. Now, I suppose that's one form, I guess, of feedback loop. But I'm curious, generally speaking, about what kind of information you get back about how the specific design or material of a package, on one way, it might be a sales feedback loop where you find out, oh my goodness, all we did was change the typography and this product started flying off the shelf, right? Or it could be we changed something and everybody loved it and it flew off the shelf, but it was a little bit high on the cost end. And so it didn't come back with the revenue margin percentage that we wanted to see. What kind of feedback do you end up getting after a product with packaging that you've worked on is put into use?
So there are various checkpoints. To name a few, there is a sale performance data. Basically, your sales will reflect what has changed. Yeah, is that, did your sales, absolute sales,
Yeah.
grew or degrew? We have seen examples where brands have changed packaging and their sales have gone down significantly, because
Okay.
people think that this is a counterfeit product.
Oh,
And
interesting.
then the brands have been forced to go back to original packaging. Then we also retailers feedback on shelf impact,
Yep.
visibility, shopper response. Then consumer feedback which we collect from surveys, reviews, complaints, call centers. We also do trade visits or trade audit to see the real shopper behavior and shelf experience. Uh, so and to add to it, one last thing is also supply chain side of it. We see uh, the number of recalls or the
Mhm.
number of returns or damage rates, because if we see that, okay, a lot of people picked our product but they returned it, which will
Yeah.
show in your sales data, but we also have to kind of look into that, because that indirectly affected your sales. It's the consumer did not like your product. So these are the main, there are various ways of collecting at various point of time in the entire chain.
And it's interesting. I wasn't even thinking about retailer feedback. I was thinking very specifically about consumer, but you're absolutely right. If you have stores coming back and saying, this product takes up too much space, or it keeps falling over on the shelf, or it just doesn't, it's too hard to unbox and stock. I'm sure that's incredibly valuable feedback. Now, the other side I would like to learn a little bit about from you is the supply side. So, you've got this whole myriad of objective you're trying to achieve through packaging. You have all of the different feedback information that you get at all these different checkpoints. What is it that you consider when you're selecting a supplier for a specific packaging need?
Yeah. So again, a very great question. We can't get it all, but we have certain guide rails, which under which all the buyers across in all the companies operate, and pretty much those are kind of becomes a standard practice, yeah, because everyone needs those.
Mm,
So first is, I'll say, we look at quality and technical capabilities. Can the supplier consistently meet specification, performance standard, and regulatory requirement of, that's the need. Then if they can do it, then we look at, okay, what is the cost and total value proposition. Basically, are they offering competitive pricing, and overall are they creating value for the um, value can be in efficiency, freight, service, waste reduction. It can be, it cannot be only cost, yeah. Then we look at, okay, you can give me what I want at the price I want, but do you have, are you reliable, do you have capacity
yes.
also, yeah, can you deliver in time, manage fluctuation, provide backup capacities during disruptions. um, then we also look at sustainability, that anything, what are you doing to get more and more uh, sustainable to nature, yeah. And the last thing which we look at it is also, can we create a long-term partnership with that
Mm,
supply partner. And the real test of partnership is not in good time, it is in bad time, because, and
true.
bad time could be for both the parties involved, because we live in a very volatile world. And so again, can you stick together in your bad times, to help each other, support each other, prioritize each other.
Yeah, I actually think that's a great point. It's easy to be good partners when things are going well and when things are predictable. When it gets tough though, and I think, this applies at sort of the individual human level as well. When it gets tough, you sort of see what people are really made of. I'm sure the exact same thing is proven out in these supply relationships. Regardless of the source of the challenge or the cause of the challenge, how do the two parties come together to work through it across all these objectives: the cost, the quality, the on time delivery, the ability to contribute to sustainability. For me, and again, this is going back to the consumer perspective, I think packaging is so fascinating because it's very easy to take it for granted. We pick up a bottle of shampoo, yep, it's in a bottle. But when you actually think about all of the thought and all of the strategy and all of the effort that goes into that, it really is interesting to hear about that behind the scenes. Now, Bhavik, I have one more question that I want to ask of you. This is actually a tradition here at the Sourcing Hero podcast. So we're going to get your perspective on this. I'm going to give you two questions. You can pick either one, and there are no wrong answers. So here are your choices. Either what does the idea of a sourcing hero mean to you? Or if you want to think a little bit more broadly, what do you think heroism looks like in a business context?
So again, I think both of the question are related to very closely related to each other. Um, so, so I will say, uh, in business context, consistently doing the right thing with no shortcuts, keeping high values is the very key, because there will be a lot of choices you need to make. But if you keep your mind focused on, okay, is this the right thing for the business, or is it the right thing for us, is it the, because right thing might come with slightly longer way,
Yes.
but it will take you farther. Yeah. Um that's the main key thing, but I can add more to it. See, one of the very critical things also is, can you anticipate risk
Mm.
before other can see it? Yeah, um, because no one knows what kind of risks might come. It could be natural disasters, it could be geopolitical environment, it could be anything. Yeah, but can you see those risks, balance it out, uh, build resilience so that the business gets protected? One thing which I want to say, which I'm not touched, is how do you drive continuous improvement, yeah, and
Yeah.
continue to elevate procurement as a strategic force, not a back office function. Yeah, because again, we are getting competitive, uh, and consumer also has a lot of choices, and
Yes.
consumer is the king. And so again, we have to stay competitive. So again, these are few things, and at the end I will like to end it by that, okay, we are all human, we all have a social element to it,
Mhm.
we all want to be, we are people first and then professional. So building partnerships
Yes.
with supply partners to unlock ideas, uh, because I will tell you, in my 13 plus years as procurement professional, uh, my supply partners have become, they become your good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I and again, it is more around, they trust you, you trust them, and there is a, you develop, naturally, in that business relationship, because you are spending so much time with each other. You kind of feel each other, so it's like creating a relationship. Yeah, the more efforts the each side puts, the deeper the relationship begins.
Yeah.
And both of us helps, in it means business for them also, but it also helps business for brands.
No, I completely agree with that. And I think even to go back to your point about, you sort of learn about the real strength of a partnership when you're going through difficult times. I do think that also carries forward. I think nothing bonds people or bonds organizations like surviving something together. You work through it together, you come out on the other side, you both have this shared experience and you know more about everybody that was involved. I think that's a fantastic call out. Bhavik, I absolutely love learning more about packaging, about all the thought that goes into it. If people are meeting you for the first time because they're listening to this episode or they're watching a video short, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you and connect and potentially learn more about your work?
Yeah, so people can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I am, yeah, Bhavuk Chawla. My name is unique, so you will find me. Yeah, and I'll be happy to exchange and learn from each other.
Excellent. Well, Pavik, thank you so much for being here today. Keep up the good work. I think we're all going to approach the store shelf a little bit differently the next time we pop into a store to buy something. Take just an extra minute to look at and appreciate that packaging. But thank you so much for being with us here on the Sourcing Hero podcast.
Thank you, Kelly, for having me. Yeah, and allowing me to share my learning with the audience. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sourcing Hero podcast. Join us again next time for more true stories of sourcing and business heroism performed by your colleagues and peers. Look for the Sourcing Hero wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe. Finally, don't forget, sourcing heroism is taking place all around us every day. Keep your eyes open and you're bound to see it. Until next time, I'm your host, Kelly Barner. Stay well and always remember that you can be a hero too.